Have you ever tried to solve a puzzle without knowing the bigger picture? It's challenging, isn't it? Let me share a story of a bright student named Emma. Emma excelled in rote learning tasks but struggled when asked to apply her knowledge in unfamiliar contexts. This was not because Emma lacked intelligence or effort. Rather, her curriculum was primarily focused on the recall of information, limiting her cognitive rigor. This is where the concept of depth of knowledge, or DOK, becomes vital. DOK is a framework that encourages higher-order thinking and problem-solving tasks. It's not about making tasks harder, but about deepening the cognitive complexity. When Emma's teachers started designing their curriculum using the DOK framework, she began to thrive. She wasn't just recalling information, she was analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Just like our student, our learners need a curriculum that progressively challenges them. This is where the depth of knowledge framework comes into play. The DOK framework consists of 4 distinct levels, each representing a different degree of cognitive complexity. Let's start with DOK Level 1. This is the most basic level, where students are asked to recall or reproduce knowledge they already have. Think of tasks like defining a term, identifying a fact, or recognizing a pattern. These are simple tasks that require minimal cognitive effort. Now let's take a step deeper into DOK Level 2. Here, students are required to use skills and concepts. They're not just recalling information, but applying it. This might include comparing and contrasting ideas, explaining causes and effects, or interpreting data from a graph. The cognitive demand is slightly higher here, as students need to understand and process the information at hand. Next, we have DOK Level 3. This level is all about strategic thinking. Students are asked to reason, plan, and use evidence. They may need to solve multi-step problems, draw conclusions from observations, or analyze the reliability of sources. This level requires a more complex thought process and more rigorous cognitive effort. Finally, we reach the pinnacle of the DOK framework, DOK Level 4. This is where extended thinking comes into play. Students are required to conduct investigations, synthesize information from multiple sources, and create original work. These tasks are complex and time-consuming, and they require students to engage in high-level cognitive processing. As we move deeper into the DOK levels, from 1 to 4, the tasks become more complex, and the cognitive demand increases. This progression is designed to challenge students, pushing them to engage in higher-order thinking and problem-solving tasks. In essence, the DOK framework is a tool for educators to design curriculum that progressively challenges students. It's about more than just teaching facts. It's about fostering cognitive rigor, empowering students to think critically and creatively, and preparing them for the demands of the 21st century. As we move from DOK 1 to DOK 4, the complexity and cognitive demand of tasks increase, challenging our students to engage in higher-order thinking and problem-solving tasks. Now, you might wonder, how does this relate to curriculum knowledge? Well, let's delve into the connection between the depth of knowledge, or DOK framework, and the design of a curriculum. As educators, we can harness the power of the DOK framework to create a curriculum that gradually challenges students to higher levels of cognitive engagement. Let's consider an example. We can start a unit on climate change with DOK 1 tasks, such as defining climate change and identifying its causes. This lays the foundation by equipping students with the basic knowledge about the topic. Moving to DOK 2, we might then ask students to compare and contrast the effects of climate change in different parts of the world. This encourages them to process information at a deeper level. Further, we can progress to DOK 3 by engaging students in a debate on the most effective solutions to combat climate change, fostering their ability to reason and make logical connections. Finally, we hit DOK 4 when we task students to develop a detailed plan for a local initiative to reduce carbon footprint. This pushes them to think critically, solve complex problems, and apply what they've learned in a real-world context. By designing the curriculum in this way, we are progressively building cognitive rigor. We are not just imparting facts, but also nurturing students' ability to think, analyze, and solve problems. Incorporating the DOK framework in curriculum design ensures that we are not just teaching facts, but also equipping our students with the ability to think, analyze, and solve problems. So, what have we learned today? We've seen the transformative power of the depth of knowledge framework in fostering cognitive rigor. We've delved into the distinctive features and functions of DOK levels 1 through 4. And we've explored practical ways to weave DOK into our curriculum design, progressively challenging students to engage in higher-order thinking and problem-solving tasks. Remember, the goal is not just to fill our students with knowledge, but to challenge them to think deeply, solve problems, and apply their learning in new contexts. That's the power of the depth of knowledge framework.